here. My name is Merle Liivand. Now I have to call myself a lady Merle Liivand because I just got knighted as a royal. But I'm known in the world as five-time Guinness World Record holder, athlete, and environmentalist because I swim and bring awareness for our oceans. And through all my work as an athlete and environmentalist, I actually also have received a title called Ocean Ambassador and Earth Day Ambassador for water. So lots of angles around this mermaid life.
Yeah, it's absolutely spectacular seeing how you're accelerating your journey. I think you have the world's first police job as well with regards to the ocean, which I recently saw.
I have to say this is April's Fool's Day joke, and so many people believe it. And I have to say that I realized that when you speak something what really wakes up people, that means we have to continue fighting for it. So I'm keep building that title in my world, but I definitely call that mermaid effect, that when people walk on the street and they see a trash and they think about the mermaid, that means some things are working.
Well, I was caught out, so there we are. Well, let's start with the first question, if that's okay, Merle. And what does being strong mean to you?
I think strong means that you have boundaries, that you put in my case, maybe fin on the ground, but feet on the ground, and you know who you are, what you want in a life, and what you want to build. And also, being strong means that you figure out yourself that in this big planet, because we don't need always somebody to tell us who we are. Sometimes we need to take a journey and not be around always communities and take kind of credit of being at home and working with yourself. Is it through meditation? Is it reading books? Is it education? And I think that's what means becoming strong. I mean, every human being has a purpose in this life because we have different no's, and I think every person should take care of themselves and take time to learn about how strong they could be and what they can become.
I think that's really powerful. And let's bring that to life with the next question, which is, can you share an experience when you had to be strong, and how did you handle it?
Well, I always knew it that I am more towards to nature, and that I might not always maybe be liked by everybody. And when you are growing up, you always want to be liked by everybody. That's typical teenager girl dreams, right? But when I realized that whatever I do in a life, I have universe behind my back, and even when you taking a risk and you facing uncomfortable things or places or situations, knowing that you have universe behind your back, that's the strongest feeling what you can have in your world. And I have to say that, even breaking a first Guinness World Record, there was too many no's than anybody believing in me. Then I honestly have to say to people that let me do it and decide later. So I think that was the moment when I realized that I have certain power and certain strength inside me. And you also should not expect everybody to understand right away, and that's another skill of being strong.
That's really great. And as you said, you've broken 5 records and you're still going strong, which is absolutely spectacular to see and very inspirational. And how do you think societal expectations about women affect the concept of strength?
I think in society we still have dilemma between should women run a business, should women be up there getting paid equally, should women be a world leader. And honestly, I come from family of having amazing father and amazing brother, and I know I need them to uplift me, and sometimes they need me to uplift them. And it was totally unknown waters when I became entrepreneur, that like basically, what are you doing here? Your spot is not here. You should be just pretty. And I think women are so much more than just pretty. They just know how to maybe be more knowledgeable about things, and they need to be led around the tables. They need to be heard and uplifted together with men. We should not push men on the side. We should have them around our circles and learn from each other. But I also try to remind people that women bring in life to this planet, and if the pieces and the timing is not there that the woman can bring the life to this planet, then maybe you forget something, because the women are so powerful to create things, create the life, create the businesses, create the amazing stories in sports, and you need to let them shine and thrive. I think it's in 2024, we shouldn't even ask if women should be around the tables. I think it should be as equally beautifully represented in all angles.
Yeah, that's such a powerful representation, that it's not about the gender, it's about what we bring to the table. And thinking about the misconceptions maybe about strength, what are some common misconceptions that you might have encountered?
Well, like I mentioned, is like so often when we see a woman walking through the door, we might be treating a woman differently than a man walking through the door. I have been talking in United Nations, in World Economic Forum, in many places where mostly are men representative and more masculine energy. And the one thing what I realized is that there are places like that where they listen women, but then you go to business meetings and there are places where they rather have croissant talk with men, shake hands, and talk big instead of listening maybe different perspective. And that sadly still happening in 2024. I always say that talk is cheap, not cheap. I'm meaning cheap, because we are constantly putting like, oh, when a woman made a mistake, she needs to be accountable. But when a man made a mistake, well, he was a good buddy, let him try again. Well, you need both angles to grow the muscle. And it's called failing muscle. So you should let women and men fail as well equally.
That's really powerful. And as you said, it's very important to treat everyone the same, or as fairly as possible. And how has your understanding of strength influenced your approach to goal setting and success?
I remember a situation where I was so scared to speak up. And as an athlete, you are sometimes told to be quiet. And it was a moment when I saw a shark in the middle of the ocean. And it was a moment for myself where I realized that the shark and I actually get along really well. But it was also a moment where I asked, will these people, these men, or these powerful leaders who I am scared, will they handle this situation? Or they will run out and scream and never return back to ocean. And I think having that moment to realize that not all the people have balls to look into shark eye was a moment where I realized that if I go to meeting and something goes wrong, at least I can go back to ocean and face the shark again. And I think having that feeling made me so courageous to walk to any meeting, any situation, any interview, anywhere, or even setting a goal like to break a Guinness World Record. I mean, now I have 5, and I'm still waiting any men or anybody to come and break my records, but I haven't seen anybody yet. So I keep setting my goals to next level.
You know what, I really like that analogy. Something about me that you might not know is I'm actually a dive master. So I've dived hundreds of times and many times with sharks, and it is humbling. And I do know that they could turn around and my life would be over in an instant. But as you said, there's this mutual respect and synergy in that moment in the water that is possible. Yet I'm going to use my shark philosophy, or your shark philosophy, in the next meetings when I feel that my mouth, I can't speak. So yeah, thank you
Mhm.
so much for awakening that in me.
I'm so glad, because I wish more people can experience that.
Very much. Well, yeah, there's the two people in the water. There's one that we should be afraid of, and it isn't the shark. So yeah, very powerful in many levels. And from your own experience, thinking about the strength and nurturing it, can you recommend a tip or a technique that we might be able to learn from?
Usually when there's something feels like a challenge, and you feel like you're not able to do it, like sit down and write down pluses and minuses. Don't feel obligated right away, run into situation. Sometimes it's good to digest the thoughts, digest the situation, because then you're also giving energy maybe to heal the situation. There could be an email what pisses you off, and you just want to write back and show like who's the smartest person in the room, but that's not necessarily always smart. Sometimes just read the email, sit down, write pluses and minuses, and kind of like really think through how to react, because sometimes it doesn't matter how we deal with the situation, it matters how we target the situation. And I think it's so important to sit down and see the pluses and minuses, and not to bring always, when other side is ego, be the echo, try to heal that, because that ego one point will breathe 3 times and slow down as well. And that's the power of a woman, being and figuring that out in a business or in a situation, because I have to say sometimes men are more emotional than women, and you just take a time and learn to react with the calmness.
That's very powerful, and I love the be the echo, not the ego, because there have been times when I wanted to like the waves, I want to deflect the
Yeah.
power back onto them and say this is how it feels, but it won't serve anyone. So letting it just run its course naturally and then coming into calmer waters could potentially help for the long-term partnership that we're striving for.
Yeah, and like I said, you need to still sit down and write, and still like learn and see how it can be fixed, or how it can be moved forward, because in the end of the day both sides of the table wants to move forward, but it's just a question of the ocean language to do it.
Brilliant. And I love circles, I love rhythms, I love finishing where I start. So my last question is actually my first. And what does being strong mean to you?
That you know your boundaries, and you're knowledgeable about yourself, and being fine to say, hey, I like the idea, but let me work on that, and let me see what I can bring to the table. Because, for example, even like contracts, even a situation where you have put in a place where you have to make a fast decision, you don't need to make a fast decision. You need to take a breath and say, this is my boundaries. I take a day to think, and that's fine, because this is right. Nobody says it's wrong. And learn to feel those magical 7 senses. I call them 7 senses. So just keep growing your backbone, and that way you learn who you are in this world, because we all are meant to be in this world, because we have different no's.
I love that. Well, Merle, it's been an absolute honor, pleasure, and delight speaking with you. And thank you so much for sharing your insights in my journey of being strong and becoming stronger potentially.
Well, thank you for having me, and I'm so excited for your strong brand. Keep moving towards to endless opportunities.
Thank you.